This is an example to show how to combine multiple rows into one cell. The raw data looks like this. We have students enrolled in different courses with different grades, and we want to transform the data into this layout, which is grouped by students with their course counts and the detailed course and grade records. You can do this counting part by pivotal table, but the pivotal table won't give you this detailed records. So in this case, we're gonna use Power Query, also provided by Excel, to make this happen. And this is how to do it. So let's first add a new Excel file. So we are not gonna ruin the original data file. And under data, you see we have a get data Power Query option, so we use this one. And then you see we have so many different options to load in data file. Since our data is Excel, browse, and we only need the raw data sheet. Okay, so here instead of hitting load, we use transform data, and this will lead you to the Power Query editor interface. You see we have so many different features, and the most important part is this applied steps. It will list all the steps you have done to your data file, and you can always make changes. So let's look back at our data. Sounds like the headers have not been loaded in properly. Okay, so we can easily fix this by use first row as header up there, or you can click here. So now the headers are pulled in, and we also have a new step added here. So next step, we wanna merge these two columns into one. Select both columns, right click, merge columns. So I'm gonna use a hyphen. Okay, so now the data is ready. If you are not happy with whatever you have done, you can always click and make changes, or you can also cancel the steps and go back. Okay. So next, we're gonna group the data by students. You have two options, of course. Group by up there, where you can select the column or the columns you wanna use for grouping, and right click group by. So I'm gonna use this one. And here you see you have two options as well, the basic and advanced. The differences is the basic gives you only one option, one column to group, and one result column as well. And the advanced one, you can add more. So in this case, we actually want to do more. We have two. One is count, one is detailed records. We would love to use advanced. Okay. But let me show you the basic ones first, probably. The basic. So let's say we can do course count first. Then you see count rows. There are other different pre-building functions as well. So count rows sounds like works fine. So if you click OK, so you see we got the course numbers put in already. And as I mentioned, we also want the detailed records, right? So what we can do is we can make changes to this step. Click this, go back to advanced, and now we want to add one more aggregation. This is course and grade. Okay, select an operation. The tricky part is here. As you may tell, all these pre-functions only give you a number instead of the detailed text values, but there is a bypass. So the trick is you can select either one of those functions which give you the option to select the column, because this case we want to have the values combined in the merged column, right? So you can choose either function as long as it gives you this option. So either one is fine. So generally speaking, I will just do some. Yeah, it's fine, right? So maybe let's say if you want to do bin, it's fine. Okay, right? So now it gives you something, but it's not correct. We should have 2, 3 instead of 1. So what am I supposed to do? So now is where we want to use the Text.Combine function. So you see up here, we have the whole coding to make this happen. But instead of writing the whole coding by ourselves, we can generate this first. That's a trick. And then just change this function. So here we selected the minimum, right? But we actually want to use the Text.Combine. Okay, that's how you simplify the process. So let's say I want to use a slash. Okay. So you see I got all 3 in, all 2 in. If you're not happy, you can always make a change. And see, this is how you get it. So if you're happy with what you say, you can then hit close and load. And now you're loading the data. Okay. And another beauty is once we build the Power Query, if you add new data points to your original data file, let's say I want to add more, maybe change it to A, SF, something C, right? And save. And if you go back to your loaded in data file using Power Query, data, and click refresh all, you get it right away. And for some reason, if you're not happy with this whole process, you want to make any changes, you can always go back, launch Power Query Editor, and make changes anywhere till you're happy. If you want to know more about Power Query functions, you can go to the documentation provided by Microsoft. So you will see there is a whole reference documentation, and the one we just used belongs to text functions. And it's Text.Combine, and it has detailed examples as well. So pretty much this is what we just used.